Hey guys, Les Mood with the Energy Independence Group. We are here at Enphase headquarters, Fremont, California, Silicon Valley, technology land. But we're here to talk with Enphase about some of the latest, greatest solar technology, how you can run your home and your business with or without the grid, always being on. Isn't that cool? Let's go check it out. Hey guys, Les Mood with Energy Independence Group. We are here with
Mohammad, Director of Systems Engineering at Enphase Energy.
So Mohammad, we're so excited about this new technology, the all-in-one technology. It's been a lot of progress that Enphase has made since 2006, a lot of advancements, right? So what we're trying to understand here, and our partners are trying to understand, is what is the mission of Enphase and what is the significance of what is going on right now?
Sure. Our mission is simple. We want clean, sustainable energy for all. And it doesn't stop at the generation of energy, but it's also the generation, the storage, the management of energy to make that energy sustainable and clean for everyone.
Okay, so we're talking about technology that could make a difference in the entire world, is that correct?
That is correct. It's not limited to one area.
Okay, so we're seeing major progress in the growth of the solar market. Enphase is picking up major steam in that market. Now, what do you think the next phase of energy is, and how can the all-in-one Enphase system take energy and management to the next level?
Sure. The system will handle the energy produced in the best way for the customer. And that means that the solar inverters, which produce that energy, converted from the sun energy, will produce electrical energy from that solar energy. And then the energy storage units will store that energy for the time when it's needed by the customer. And then on top of that, we have an intelligent, smart energy management system that will manage the way that energy is moved between the different parts of the system. There will also be intelligence that continues to grow and continues to become smarter in understanding the behavior of the user, when energy is used and when it's needed, and what's the price of energy at different times of the day or different days of the week, and so on, and make decisions behind the scene so that the user gets the best experience and gets the most economical use of the user's energy.
Okay, so we're seeing a phase of development in solar, it sounds like to me, that is more software-based and more intelligence-based, and not just a battery and not just a solar panel, which seems to be more of a commodity these days. How would you describe what we're seeing, and what would you think the next phase is going to be on the energy management side, and how all of these components work together?
Software is becoming more and more important element of the energy management solution that we have. As you mentioned, hardware is a part of it, of course. It's an important part. And we do have intelligence both in the hardware and in the software. The nice thing about software is that it is something that you can update and you can push to the side and you can continue to make better, much easier than a piece of hardware that you install on site. So we start with robust, reliable, smart pieces of hardware that we use in constructing our system, but then the intelligence of that, a lot of it is in the software that runs. And we continue to make it better. We continue to push upgrades to the system. And then the system is connected to our online cloud, which has additional intelligence that it provides to the system. And the more intelligence we add to the system, the more you can push to the site. So that's the power of software.
Okay. So we understand that safety is important to society, it's important to homeowners and businesses that are trying to keep their lights on and try to avoid the blackouts and the power outages and the acts of gods that just happen in life and in our world. How can the concerns for safety be integrated into the development of the solar market? You know, we want to be safe and take care of ourselves, but we also want to have a safe solar system. How would you describe the safety of Enphase as opposed to some of the alternatives that are out there?
Safety is the number one concern that we have as a company. These are systems that we put out on our homes. Some of the storage units, we put them in our garages underneath my kids' bedroom, for example. So I definitely want to make sure that for anybody who uses the system, it is the safest system that is out there. And that's been a consideration from day one with the microinverter technology, which does not use high DC voltage for the system. That's a very important safety factor for the system. And then we carried the same mentality through the different parts of the system, especially with energy storage. There are concerns around energy storage. We use what's called lithium iron phosphate batteries, LFP. LFP is the golden standard when it comes to commercially available lithium-ion batteries. These have very low thermal runaway coefficients, for example. They are much more immune to the issues that we have seen with other kinds of lithium-ion batteries. Enphase selected that type of battery for its known safety and reliability, and that's what we use in the first generation of batteries, and we continue to use that. So we take safety very seriously at Enphase, and everything we do on the product has that mentality in mind.
So Mohammad, on the power of energy and the power of Enphase, can you kind of describe the powerful all-in-one technology and how it being, Enphase, how is Enphase different? How can we as a contractor or we as a partner with others, how can we take advantage of the power, and what exactly would you describe the powerfulness of Enphase to be?
Sure. So we have a system that is an all-in-one system, and that has many benefits, not only to the user, but also to the installer that installs the system. So we provide the parts that convert energy from solar. Those are the inverters or the AC modules. We provide the wiring. We also provide the energy storage. We provide the smart switch, the N-Power smart switch. And we also have the software that manages all that. And we have our cloud service that connects to the system. And we believe that has a couple of huge advantages. One is it makes sure that the system works. When the thing is developed and tested together, you know that it works well, as opposed to guessing which inverter is going to be connected, what energy storage am I using. Then you're open to so many little things, and you have to be on top of every little detail that gets updated in any system. But if it's provided from one source, you know that it's tested as one system, you know that it all works together. And for me personally, as someone in the systems engineering team, that is a key responsibility, which is making sure that the system works well together. And from an installer point of view, it's easier to deal with one source. Get all your parts from one source, and this way, if you need something, or if there's a question or technical support, you know that the thing works, and you have one source that you're dealing with, as opposed to dealing with many parties for the system that you're working.
Right. So we've noticed that the customer service for Enphase is some of the best in the industry, and for us as a contractor and for our customers out there, it is very important. With customer service in mind and the all-in-one system as you described it, is the reliability greater than it would be for other options?
Absolutely. Reliability is key for Enphase, and we understand that putting electronics on your rooftop or outside the home requires them to be reliable. Every what we call a truck roll, which is an installer visit to the site to update the site, would be costly, and nobody wants that. So we designed the electronics to last for a very long time. Collectively, between our products, we ran at least a million, and I'm not exaggerating, at least 1 million hours of reliability testing to make sure that the products that we put out there are reliable and and have the highest standards of quality that the product can have.
So, speaking of million, it's my understanding that over 1 million homes have Enphase on that. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is amazing. Now, with that in mind, would you say that we're reaching the end of the solar market, or is this just the beginning?
Oh, absolutely not. This is just the beginning. Actually, we see the market booming. We see more and more people adopting solar solutions. I would say this is just the beginning. It's the growth is continuing. The momentum is strong. We have free energy. We might as well use it.
Right.
It would be, it would be a waste not to use that available, powerful source of energy that we have.
Right. Albert Einstein said a little bit about the sun. So on moving forward in this revolution, as we think Would you say that this is going to make a difference in the world? Is it going to make a difference in the lives, not just of Americans and Californians and the middle class? Is there a future for this technology for the world and for communities and countries in Africa or India or places where there is no electricity at all yet?
Absolutely. And Enphase is an international company, both as development and working resources within the company. We are an international company, but also from a market perspective. We also cater for the international market, and that is in all continents. We have a vision, and like I said at the beginning, the vision is to have clean energy for all, sustainable clean energy for all. And all means everybody, everywhere. And there are key things to that, making that energy affordable, making it easy to use, making it sustainable, and that's the goal that we have. We don't stop at one geography. We really want the whole world to benefit from this.
Yes, we see a lot of situations like in Puerto Rico where there's hurricanes, and we see natural disasters happening all over the place. But we also see just the lack of reliability in the grid in general as we deal with this outdated grid. Do you see a future for microgrids and a role for Enphase to play in the development of microgrids?
I do, and that was the spirit behind developing the Ensemble system. What it does is that it does create a microgrid within your home or on site. And it takes the concept of distributed generation and distributed loads at a grid level and applies that at a microgrid so that each site becomes its own microgrid. And it's not just the quality of the grid that may cause that. Some customers may want energy independence. They want clean energy. They want everything that they consume to be clean energy. And the system will give you the option to say, I want to run purely on the solar energy that I have or the local energy that I generated. So there are other reasons why to create that, and the system allows you to do it. Absolutely.
So Mohammad, can you describe to us the Empower Smart Switch?
Absolutely. The Empower Smart Switch is somewhat like an ATS, an automatic transfer switch, which is probably a more known term in the industry. And the idea is that you need something that disconnects the microgrid that you have in your house from the grid whenever you create that microgrid. You're not allowed to energize the utility grid when there's an outage or there's a problem. You really want to disconnect yourself from the grid and then provide your power locally. All your conductors will be energized. You're going to have 120 or 240 on your side, and you cannot connect that back to a faulty grid. So the responsibility of disconnecting from the grid is handled by the smart switch, which is the Empower Smart Switch. And there's intelligence in the smart switch and the way it works with the rest of the system, in that it either detects a grid fault automatically and disconnects the system, or if the user wants to disconnect intentionally from a healthy grid even, that is also allowed by the system. And after you're islanded, the system continues to monitor the grid. When the grid comes back, there is some synchronization that's done by the system to say, yep, the healthy grid came back and it's been stable, and now it's time for me to connect my system back. Or wait until the user says, hey, I took myself off grid intentionally, and I'm gonna wait until the user says, now connect me back to that.
So Mohammad, in Bakersfield, California, where Energy Independence Group was founded, there's a lot of oil and gas, and you would think that there would be oil and water in terms of the separation between solar energy and oil and gas, but we see differently. What excites us is the possibility that not only is Enphase considering energy production on the solar side and energy storage on the battery side, but also maybe natural gas generation on there too, correct? So there could be multiple sources of power that could feed the switch, correct?
That is correct, and we have provisioning today in the system to allow other sources of energy in case, let's say, it is nighttime, there's no solar, and batteries, for example, run out of energy. The Empower Smart Switch has provisioning on the hardware level to allow connecting, say, a genset or another source of energy. That's not going to be supported right away in the first rollout of the product. That's going to be enabled in later stages, so stay tuned for that. But we did put hardware in the product to support it, but again, it's not going to be supported from the first go. But the mindset here is we want to be able to allow other sources of energy to be used on site and not just the ones that we generate.
And so Enphase will be not just a manufacturer, but an energy management system and something that you can rely on to manage all of your energy sources. Is that correct?
Correct. That is a correct statement.
So Mohammad, resilience is extremely important when you're dealing with power and the safety of your home and the safety of your business. Can you tell us a little bit about the resiliency of Enphase?
Absolutely. And actually this carries on from the early messages of Enphase and the founding principles of Enphase. Resiliency exists in our microinverters, which are distributed generation devices. And the idea is that if for whatever reason, we build reliable microinverters, but if for whatever reason a microinverter fails, the rest of the system continues to work. Even if two fail, the rest of the system continues to work. So we took that principle and applied it to Ensemble. So if you have multiple battery units, multiple N charges in the system, and for whatever reason one of them is not working, the rest of the system continues to work. The other units continue to work. Not only that, but also within one N charge, we have 4 microinverters of the IQ8, our latest and greatest microinverter is in the N charge, and we have 4 of them. And if one of them stopped working, the other microinverters continue to work. And again, if that battery is not working, the rest of the batteries continue to work. So resiliency is very important. The systems may be used at times of natural disasters. You're relying on that backup system. So the last thing you want is for that system to go down. If you're using a centralized inverter that handles all of this and there's a failure in that, now you shut down the whole system. Or a centralized big battery and it fails, you're going to shut down the system. But if you have a modular system where every part works on its own, even a single microinverter is capable of creating a microgrid if there is loads that are properly sized to it. Then imagine having all these microinverters in the battery systems. Then you have a very resilient, reliable system, which matters the most to the customer at those times.
Yeah. So Mohammad, in college, when I went to school a while back, we learned about the 7 principles of technology. And one of those was modularity of technology. And from our perspective, the modularity is a key to Enphase and its resiliency, as well as its reliability and its power. Can you give the audience an idea of what makes Enphase unique on the inverter side, the storage side, the management side, the all-in-one side? Really a solution that is more than just what we see out there on the competitor side for Enphase. Can you kind of try to explain to our listeners what makes Enphase so unique?
Absolutely. Modularity is based on the similar founding principles for Enphase, where the microinverter was a modular unit in that you can create small systems, big systems from the same building block. It makes it easier, by the way, for the installer to handle different sizes of systems if it all uses the same building block as opposed to buying a small block, big block, depending on the project. Now you have one inventory of the same building block and you can create a small system, a large system. You can even start with a small system and come back later and add more units. And the same principles propagated to the use of batteries. So we have batteries that are built in a modular size, 3.4 kilowatt hours for the Encharge 3. 3 of them makes an Encharge 10. And you can put 1, you can put 3, you can put 5, you can put the right number that best fits the customer. And then if the customer adds more loads or expands their system and they want more power or more capacity for their storage or more PV, you can always go back and add that and retrofit the system with more capacity. And that's why we think modularity is a key thing, and it's in the, again, in the founding principles for Enphase to make our systems modular.
Great. So a lot of our clients in the last couple of years, since the IQ series of inverters came out, have heard from us, wait, don't do batteries. We've been telling people, don't do batteries, like the Powerwall or the LG Chem. And the reason for us is because we were waiting for this all-in-one solution. Would you say that now is the time that we can get excited, that our customers can contact us and really start to get excited about the solar revolution?
Absolutely. I'm glad you waited. This is what we see is the right thing. This is the time. Our batteries are coming out soon, and I would say this is the time to get excited about smart, modular, safe energy storage that works. It's a one-stop shop, it's one system, and it's very technologically advanced. I wish we have more time to talk about the intelligence in the battery, in the microinverter, and even in our own ASIC that is the heart of the microinverter. So there's a reason why we're close to the Silicon Valley, because we develop our own integrated circuits that go into that. So these are specialized, very powerful processors that run the microinverters that are in the heart of the batteries in our system. And it is the right technology to go with. So I would say, yes, this is the time to be excited about energy storage.
Well, so Enphase has led the way and has over 100 patents in the solar market. Would you say that creates a unique opportunity for Enphase to continue to lead the way and to move forward and to use that modular mindset to continue to expand and push the envelope?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said before, this is not the end of solar and not the end of storage. This is barely the beginning. We see great opportunities coming. We see a continuous opportunity to make the system better, more powerful, more resilient, and open up more system use cases for the customer. And again, going back to the point on software, that's the nice thing, is that if the system is powered by software, you can always make it smarter, you can always make it better, and add to that and continue without having to replace things in the system.
So for our clients that have existing IQ systems or even older systems that were first the Gen 1, Gen 2 inverters, I understand from your program's upgrade program that we can come and retrofit some of those systems, as well as take the existing IQ series that we've installed in the last few years and just plug and play with this. Is that correct? Just plug and play, it's ready?
That is correct. So in terms of an upgrade by adding the Ensemble system to an existing system, the IQ6 and IQ7 and their families are supported. So if you have IQ6s or IQ7s on your rooftop, it's easier to retrofit Ensemble by adding the N-Charge batteries and the N-Power Smart Switch, and there's a small plug-in that is added to the combiner box. For older generations of Enphase microinverters, there's also the upgrade program that's available, where some of the microinverters may be needed to be swapped, either as microinverters or as AC modules, and upgrade them to IQ inverters that make them more compatible with the Ensemble system.
So Mohammad, cell phones are great, super advanced technology. We're in Silicon Valley in the middle of a lot of that development right now, and it seems to be so seamless when you just pick up your phone. It's so great. Is Enphase at that point yet? Is it easy to use? Is it something that you can just go with? It's automatic?
Yes, absolutely. And we know that people are busy. There's a lot to handle during people's busy life. So we wanted the system to be the last thing that they worry about. And that's why we developed the technology such that it works on its own. But we also gave the user an easy option through the mobile app to be able to have all the views in one place. This way they can see what their solar is doing, they can see their generation, they can see what their storage is doing, they can set certain things for the system that allows it to be more economical, like setting the tariff, like setting what use cases they want. The user generally has the option to set the system in one of three modes. One mode is backup mode, which means charge up my batteries, always keep them fully charged, so that if I need, if the power is out or if there's something, then I have those batteries available. Another option is self-consumption. Self-consumption means I want to use the most of my solar energy. So store solar energy when there's more solar than my load, and if my load is more than my solar and the solar is not enough, complement that with energy from the battery. And the third use case is economical, the smart economical use case. And that means that the system is operating based on the tariff, based on the price of energy, based on solar energy available and the load, and it's making the most economical choices for the user, so that energy is used when the grid energy is expensive, and maybe we use the grid energy when, if needed, when the prices are low, based on the tariff that is set. Now, one competing use case is that for backup energy, of course, you want the batteries charged. For economical reasons, you want to discharge the battery. So how is the conflict handled? Well, when you set the setting for the system for self-consumption or for the smart savings mode, you also can set a minimum reserve. That means do the economical thing with the batteries, but always save, say, 20% or 30% of the battery capacity. That the performance stops there, and there's always some reserve kind of in the tank.
Very useful.
In case there's an outage that happens at night or during the day or at any time.
Mohammed, I'll tell you a little story. I had a power outage, my wife and I, for 3 days. She was pregnant, and for 3 days we were going up and down the stairs with candles. She knows about this technology because I'm so excited about it, right? And she's like, when is Enphase coming out with this? We need it. And I was like, so you're good with it? We're gonna get it on the house? And she says, yes. And she didn't even ask how much it costs. She just wants it. When can I get it is the question, not how much it costs. But my question is, besides it being so useful for safety and power outages and being in control and actually having energy independence, is there a financial mechanism in the smart, in the savings mode that helps the battery pay for itself?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, the battery or the system makes decisions
the storage system?
for the battery based on those economical values, and it looks at the price of energy, it looks at when solar is available, what the tariff is, and makes the best choices for the customer. So the value of the system is in that it makes those choices, saves you energy on your bill, and those energies continue to accumulate as long as you use the system.
So it sounds like you can have a safe system with the all-in-one system, but that it's a smart system, and that it's a savings-oriented decision for you, so that you can pay for it with the savings. You can be safe with the solution itself. Would you say that it's a no-brainer?
I would say it's a no-brainer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just left the laboratory at Enphase. It was amazing. We're super excited. We're excited to go home and to share this technology with our customers. We're excited to join in new partnerships moving forward. We're here for the solar revolution to bring power to the world. That's the mission of Enphase, is to bring power, sustainable power to the world, and we are part of that mission. You can be a part of that mission. You can join us, declare energy independence today.